Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. True God in Another World, Tensura x Tbate, by Tempest_King_20. Chapter 21. Ambitious Plans. Rimuru Pav. As I slowly woke up from my peaceful slumber, the morning sunshine flooded my cozy bedroom, casting a warm golden glow that instantly put me at ease. I let out a satisfying yawn, stretching my limbs and feeling all the tension melt away. The sun's rays gently kissed my skin, leaving me feeling refreshed and ready to kickstart the day with a calm and contented spirit. Last night, I sat with my little brother, Arthur, trying my best to comfort him and ease his restless mind. I affectionately stroked his hair and whispered reassuring words, but it made me sad to see him carrying the weight of his past experiences. It was like he had this heavy cloak of memories that held him back from fully embracing the present. It broke my heart to witness his struggle, because I knew how hard it can be to find joy and meaning in life when you're haunted by the ghosts of your past. Being the older brother, I just want Arthur to live in the present and not be burdened by the past or the uncertainties of the future. I want him to recognize how precious these moments are, how they slip by unnoticed if we're not paying attention. But sometimes, I worry that I unintentionally contributed to his detachment from the beauty of life. He's a brilliant mind, always absorbing knowledge and strengthening his intellect, but he often overlooks the simple joys that surround him. He forgets to truly experience and appreciate life's pure pleasures. Lost in my thoughts, I was gently jolted back to reality by a soft, hum sound. I looked down and saw that Seal had snuggled up next to me, peacefully asleep and wrapped in cozy bliss. Her serene expression was just too adorable, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of warmth and affection towards her. After our recent date, Seal needed a few days to get back to her usual self. She could easily get embarrassed, and I found it endearing to see her blush. Exploring her own emotions was something new for her, considering she used to be just a skill without any ego. That's why I held back from confessing my love for her. Even a little teasing or an affectionate nickname would make her flustered, so I wanted to give her time to sort out her thoughts. As for me, my own feelings have been a jumble since I arrived in this world. I closed my eyes and let out a heavy sigh, trying to shake off my inner turmoil. When I opened my eyes, I found Seal gazing at me, having just woken up herself. There was no embarrassment this time, just a confident gaze as she met my eyes. Without saying a word, I gently cupped her soft cheeks in my hands, feeling the warmth transfer from her skin to mine. Getting closer, I planted a tender kiss on her forehead, and her face lit up with a contented smile. Silence enveloped us, bringing a sense of peace and a break from the chaotic world outside. Finally, I spoke, my voice soft and gentle. "Good morning, Seal." Ciel's smile grew wider, as if she had been eagerly waiting to hear those words. "Good morning, Master," she happily replied in our serene bedroom. "You sure do love your sleep, huh, Seal?" I playfully chuckled, teasing her a bit. Seal nodded, then rested her head on my chest, letting out a soft sigh. "Sorry for sleeping so much. I can understand now why you enjoy sleeping, Master." I couldn't help but let out a soft chuckle, my fingers tracing the delicate contours of Ciel's face with gentle strokes. The soft curve of her nose and the smoothness of her cheeks brought a warm smile to my lips. "No need to apologize, Seal. I'm glad you got some good rest. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters." Sylvia interrupted the moment between us, her voice cutting through the tranquility. "Isn't it time to get up?" A mischievous grin played on my lips as I teasingly responded, still holding Seal close. "Are you feeling a little jealous?" Sylvia's voice tinged with amusement as she replied, "What? Are you still dreaming? It's just a bit strange to see two 4-year-olds flirting in bed like a happy couple who just woke up." I tried to defend myself, saying, "You know we're bigger than we look." Sylvia countered, "I know, but it's still weird." "It wouldn't be weird if you didn't think of it as weird. Anyway, we've got some time before we have to get up, so let me enjoy the moment," I suggested, hugging Seal tightly. Seal closed her eyes and snuggled further into my chest, and I savored the warmth and affection that radiated from her. Her embrace made me feel loved and content, and I could tell she felt the same way. In that cozy and intimate atmosphere, we basked in the beauty of those precious moments. Just as we were lost in our own little world, relishing the tranquility, A knock on the door shattered the peaceful ambiance. "Rimuru, the carriage is ready to leave," Gramps' voice echoed through the room, interrupting the serenity. "I'll be there shortly," I replied, my annoyance evident at having our moment abruptly cut short. Once again, external demands encroached upon our private bliss. Sylvia asked curiously, "Why do you think Rimuru called you?" Shrugging my shoulders, I admitted, "I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out soon enough." With Seal returning to my soul after planting a tender kiss on my cheek, I reluctantly left the bed and made my way to the bathroom to freshen up before getting dressed. Rimuru had summoned me, and if I had to guess, it might have something to do with Kyle and the others. When I emerged from the room, Gramps was waiting for me in the corridor. He handed me some food and we walked to the front door and talked about some topics before we left the palace. Gramps parted from me when he went out to do his work, and I got into the carriage. Without any words other than a salutation, the carriage began to move towards Rinu's hut as I contemplated my next move, and as the carriage drove through a beautiful forest, I enjoyed the calm and relaxing atmosphere that such a picturesque place offered. I cannot describe the beauty that surrounds us. The forest was full of life and fresh activity, where the clean air meets the dancing flowers and the leaves of the trees gently swaying with the movement of the wind. I could see the beautiful green trees hanging on each side of the road, and there was only the quiet sound of the woodland birds there. I heard the gentle sound of leaves and the lovely red husk under the carriage's feet, and the pleasant, calm atmosphere made me feel very comfortable and relaxed. For me, the scenery was indescribably bewitching, even if it was incomparable to the Cardinal's world, so I enjoyed every moment and every sight. This place was a very psychological and serene time, and life in quiet surroundings felt very reassuring and comfortable, including this road the carriage was walking on. Before long, the carriage glided to a gentle stop, signaling our arrival at Rinu's humble hut. As I stepped out onto the dirt path, Rinu herself greeted me with a mischievous smile. "Hey Rinu, it's good to see you again." Rinu's lips curled into a wry smile as she teasingly remarked, well, if it isn't you again. Took you long enough to pay me a visit, child." I thought I'd wither away from waiting. I rolled my eyes at her playful comment, but couldn't help but smile. Rinu was a vital member of our team, and her banter always brought a sense of familiarity. "If waiting for me could actually kill you, I'm pretty sure you would have been long gone," I replied with a nonchalant shrug. Curiosity sparked in my eyes as Rinu's expression turned serious. "Then what's the matter? It's weird that you're calling me," I asked, genuinely intrigued by her sudden change in demeanor. "I was wondering when you will raid the bunkers again. Even Alfred was excited about it," Rinu said as she started to put the transfer gate on. Her words caught me by surprise, and I raised an eyebrow in disbelief. Alfred, excited about raiding bunkers? That was unexpected. "I did not expect that," I admitted, genuinely taken aback by the news. I couldn't help but wonder what had sparked Alfred's sudden interest in battle. "Is Alfred perhaps a battle freak?" I asked, genuinely curious about this newfound passion. Rinu's chuckle grew louder as she nodded, confirming my suspicion. "Seems like you found a battle freak without your knowledge. I've already healed his injuries, and he's been training hard recently. The twins are also advancing quickly. It seems like the amount of mana has suddenly increased there recently," she shared, her mischievous grin widening. Greater than. Less than. Greater than Seal. "Is there something you've been wanting to tell me?" Less than I asked, a smile playing on my lips as I kept my eyes closed. Less than. "I just wanted to help, Master." Greater than Seal hesitated, her voice tinged with guilt. Greater than Sigh, "You could have told me that first. So what's the other reason?" Less than I inquired, sensing that there was more to her words than met the eye. Less than I've been conducting experiments to understand how mana and mana cores work. Greater than Seal admitted, her voice tinged with excitement. Intrigued, I listened intently, eager to learn about her findings. Greater than, "And what have you discovered so far?" Less than I inquired, my voice brimming with anticipation. Less than, "As you know, the mana here is different from the magicules in the Cardinal world." Greater than, her voice held a note of intrigue. Greater than, "Yes, it can be said that mana is just a weak copy of magicules." Less than I nodded in agreement, recalling my knowledge of the two energy sources. Less than exactly. So, I wanted to see how an excess amount of mana affects people and any potential consequences it might have. Greater than CL's voice was filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. My eyebrows furrowed as I contemplated the possible ramifications of CL's experiments. Greater than, but what if something goes wrong? What about the potential side effects? Less than I voiced my worries, my tone laced with caution. Less than don't worry, master. I took precautions to ensure nothing would happen. Greater than Seal reassured me, her voice filled with confidence. Relieved, I nodded. Greater than continue your research, but be cautious. Let me know if you find any new results or any potential dangers that we need to address. Less than. Less than high, master. Greater than CL's voice exuded excitement, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction at allowing her to contribute to our cause. Whether it was her genuine enthusiasm or the opportunity to complete her experiment, I couldn't say for sure, but seeing her so eager brought a smile to my face. Everything is ready, Rinia announced, bringing my attention back to the present. We stepped onto the transfer gate, and with a flash of light, we found ourselves in our hideout. As we emerged from the gate, I couldn't help but be amazed by what lay before us. It was a massive cave, with an intricate, vaulted roof and sturdy pillars supporting the underground structure. The place had transformed since my last visit. The old buildings had been repaired, and the atmosphere was completely different. It felt alive and vibrant, with children playing near a luminous, watery river and cheerful voices filling the air. It was like the gloom that once hung over this place had been banished, and life had returned. The sight of the bustling community filled me with a sense of hope. It reminded me of Tempest when it was just a small town, with everyone working happily and living in harmony. It was incredible to see how this place had risen from neglect and become a thriving community. As Rinia and I made our way towards the central house, she filled me in on some details. I listened attentively, greeting and chatting with the people we passed on the way. We stepped into the house and saw a group of people gathered around a table. Alfred, Kyle, and Kyla were there, familiar faces from my previous visits. But there were also 3 new additions to the group. First, there was Ethan, a young human in his 20s. His messy jet black hair fell just above his eyebrows, and his sharp gray eyes scanned the room with a keen focus. He had a lean and athletic physique, with well-defined muscles that hinted at his training as a fighter. Despite his muscular build, he seemed a bit thin, like he had been through some tough times. He wore simple black pants and a white shirt, keeping it casual yet stylish. And then we have Sophia, a young elf with long, silky blonde hair flowing down her shoulders. Her piercing green eyes reflected her determination and precision. She had a simple yet elegant style, wearing a white blouse tucked into brown pants that accentuated her curves. Her sturdy boots spoke of strength and practicality. Lastly, we couldn't miss Thorin, a dwarf who stood tall among the others. His massive presence contrasted with Ethan and Sophia's more petite frames. At first glance, one might mistake him for a human, but a closer look revealed his true nature. His red hair flowed down his back, blending with his bushy red beard that covered most of his face. His twinkling red eyes held a hint of amusement as he observed me. "Oh, Rimuru, you're finally here," Alfred greeted me warmly as he and the others stood up. He shook my hand, expressing his relief at my arrival. "Sorry for being late. I had some matters to attend to. So, what have I missed while I was away?" I apologized, taking a seat that was offered to me and gesturing for Rinia to join me. Alfred sit and began to explain the developments that had taken place in my absence. The first notable change was the reorganization of our community, aimed at facilitating better collaboration between mages and non-mages. There was a conscious effort to eliminate discrimination, and the mages were grouped according to their elemental abilities: fire, water, air, and earth. This division allowed for easier sharing of knowledge and experiences between conjurers and augmenters. Each group had a designated trainer who was proficient in using the assigned element, ensuring effective guidance and education. And they are: Alfred, light orange stage water augmenter; Ethan, dark orange stage fire augmenter with deviance in lightning; Sophia, light orange stage winds augmenter, and due to being a former noble, she can use plant magic; Thorin, solid orange stage earth augmenter with deviance in gravity. However, what impressed me the most was the progress made by the non-mages. They had been trained in various practical skills, such as medicine, trade, cooking, and construction. Rinia had played a vital role in teaching them these essential abilities. Furthermore, they had even begun to learn the basics of combat, with some individuals showing a keen interest in pursuing it further. As Alfred concluded his explanation, I nodded, absorbing all the information that had been shared. It was evident that they had already accomplished much of what I had intended for them. Their dedication and effort were truly remarkable, reinforcing their worthiness. That's very promising. But have you noticed anyone with exceptional potential? I inquired, my curiosity piqued. Alfred's gaze shifted towards Kyle and Kyla. Currently, Kyle and Kyla stand out as the most talented individuals among us. We all agree that they have the potential to surpass us in the future, Alfred replied, bringing smiles to the faces of the mentioned pair. Both of them are progressing at an above-average rate, quickly grasping new concepts. Additionally, they both have obtained an element which is fire. I see. Now, let's shift gears and talk about something important, I said, leaning forward and resting my hands on the table as they looked at me with curiosity. We need money. As you all know, our plan is to relocate once we've saved the remaining slaves, I explained, and everyone nodded in agreement. While the resources we currently have may be sufficient for our immediate needs, we can't rely on them indefinitely. Eventually, our supplies will run out. But what about the money we'll be taking from those bastards? Thorin chimed in, referring to the slave traders. While that money will certainly help, it won't be enough. If we want to live comfortably, we need a more sustainable source of income, I said, nodding at Thorin, who nodded back in understanding. What are you thinking? Alfred asked, genuinely interested. I'm thinking of starting a company, I revealed, causing everyone's eyes to widen in surprise. A company? They all echoed in unison. Yes, a company. We'll establish multiple shops in different locations and provide various services, I explained. I see. It's an interesting plan, Rinia said, pondering over the idea. But how do we go about building this company? I already have some ideas. We can start by trading in tools, weapons, clothing, and even food, I revealed, causing everyone's eyes to light up with excitement. So the company will consist of a restaurant, a blacksmith, and a clothing store. Ethan asked, seeking clarification. We can even offer additional services, like security, Sophia suggested. The group began to murmur in agreement, and we dove into a brainstorming session, exploring more ideas on how to generate a sustainable income. We discussed the possibility of starting our own farm, venturing into the arms trade, and even considering opening our own store or restaurant, although these were just preliminary ideas. It will take time and hard work, but I believe we can provide for our needs, Ethan said, displaying optimism. Is that all you wanna say, Rimuru, or you got some other ideas up your sleeve? Rinia asked, her eyes filled with curiosity. I chuckled softly and replied, you know me too well, Rinia. But for now, I'll keep my other ideas to myself. Right now, our focus is on saving those slaves. There's no time to waste. The rest of the gang nodded in agreement. You four, get ready. We'll be heading out soon. They all acknowledged my instructions with a nod. Just as we were about to get up from our seats, Kyle raised his hand and asked, can I say something? I nodded, giving him the go-ahead. Can we come with you? I mean, to help save the slaves. No way. You guys are still young, I replied, causing everyone to give me a puzzled look while raising their eyebrows. Alright, I get it. But trust me, taking a life isn't as easy as you think, Kyle. We've actually taken a life, Kyla confessed, her voice dropping. She looked down, and a heavy silence settled among us. When we were on the run, two people caught up to us, and we had no choice but to defend ourselves. So, we're not afraid of killing. My heart sank at Kyla's revelation, and the gravity of the situation weighed on us all. Alfred, breaking the tension, spoke up to the siblings. Kyla, I know you both can fight and protect yourselves. But this mission is dangerous, and we don't know what we might face. We have experience dealing with it, but you guys don't. Sophia chimed in, her tone calm and empathetic. We can't take you on this risky mission. We understand you want to help and show your strength, but your safety comes first. We get that you care about us and have more info about the situation, but we just want to be a part of this mission, Kyle persisted, making his case. Ethan joined in, suggesting, "Why don't we bring him along? I don't see any harm in it. They both know how to fight, and if they want to get stronger, they need some real experience. Experience gained by killing people. Do you even realize what you're saying?" Sophia shot back, her gaze sharp and disapproving. "I know it sounds rough, but at the end of the day, they'll have to face enemies in battle, Sophia." Ethan's tone turned defensive as he tried to explain his perspective. After a moment of thoughtful silence, I made a decision. "All right, you can join us on this mission. But you got to understand the risks involved," I said, looking directly at Kyle and Kyla. The siblings lit up at my acceptance, and Kyle let out a relieved breath. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "But," I continued, my voice stern, "if we say it's time to retreat or if it becomes too dangerous, you must trust us and follow our lead. We will keep you informed and assign tasks that won't put you in grave peril." Sophia glanced at me, a protest forming on her lips, but I quickly interjected, cutting her off before she could voice her opposition. "No objections, Sophia. This is final," I asserted firmly, raising my hand as a gesture of finality. The weight of my decision hung in the air, causing Sophia to release a resigned sigh. With our exchange concluded, everyone dispersed to make preparations for what awaited us. "Are you really sure about this?" Rinia asked, her delicate features all tense with curiosity, as she took a sip of the tea in front of her. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of intrigue and concern, making her question my certainty. I leaned back in my chair, a calm and collected demeanor on display. "Not entirely, but if they're willing to be involved, then I say let them. After all, they'll be the ones fighting this war. The more they can adapt and gain experience, the better it will be for our cause." Rinia's worried expression didn't budge as she mulled over the limited timeline. Leaning forward, she rested her hand on her chin and asked, her voice filled with both worry and curiosity, "So, how much time are we actually working with here?" I took a moment to gather my thoughts before replying. Maybe 2 or 3 years. Her brow furrowed slightly as she processed the potential constraints of this time frame. That's not much time to execute such an ambitious plan, is it?" Rinia voiced her apprehension, her concern for the audacious venture I had set in motion evident. A determined smile tugged at the corner of my lips as I reassured her, "Don't worry, Rinia. 3 years, though seemingly brief, will be more than sufficient for me. I will make every moment count, using it judiciously to ensure our success." As I spoke those words, my mind raced with the possibilities that the next 3 years held. I just hope these 3 years will be filled with captivating and thrilling moments.